Hello and welcome to the Sleeping Dragon Reviews. My name is Tucker and I am here with my friend Dylan.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about Amnesia: The Dark Descent. But before we go into that, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing. So if you want to start.
Yeah, I'll start us off and say that you slightly messed up that intro. It's okay.
That's
We
fine.
still all love you. I'm just going to keep making fun of you for it, though.
It got the
So
point across. It doesn't matter.
you got the point of this is a podcast out, and I
Mm-hmm.
understood that. So
Yeah.
is it a podcast, though?
Sometimes.
Sometimes
Sometimes
not.
we're just haters. Sometimes we're just
We're haters.
podcasters.
We
Sometimes
hate
we're
it.
glazers, you know?
Yeah. Glazers, haters. That's such a fire name. Anyways. Lately, games I've been playing, I want to play Voxel is what I want to play, but me and Tucker finished Split Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Fire game, loved it,
Banger.
amazing. I don't know when we're reviewing it. It should be in the next couple of
Next
weeks or
week.
so. Really, next week?
Next week, yeah.
Okay, that's fire. I've gotten into Rainbow Six Siege again, which is sad because I can't. Actually, I can still like every time somebody says they're gonna play it, I can still go.
Yeah. We say it
So
to ourselves though, because I mean, realistically, we don't like the game, but we still play it for some reason.
yeah, it's pain.
Do you have anything else you've been doing?
No.
Okay. I'll move into my stuff. Yeah. So we finished Split Fiction. That was a big one. I think our next game we're gonna be playing together is gonna be the Dark Pictures series. So I'm not sure when we'll start it exactly, but sometime.
I
Um,
forgot I installed that yesterday.
yeah, we got a little distracted.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, what have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of Detroit Become Human. I finished the game, and I just want to 100% it, is it's not too hard to clean up. Just 100%. So I'm gonna be doing that, but that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Mm,
You know, you move into
all
the
right.
segment.
Yeah. I'm gonna new segment being introduced.
Yeah.
Welcome to Shitty Reviews. So
Hmm.
today we're gonna talk about another IGN review, similar to what we did last week.
We called it last time. We called this. I want you to know
Yes.
this was before this happened that we
Yes.
recorded
So
it.
IGN and their lovely, lovely selves decided to review Invincible Season 3 finale review. And they gave it a fucking 4 out of 10.
Which is terrible. That was easily one of their best episodes, I think, in throughout the entire show. It's a very close one for first for me. And the fact that they gave it a 4 just like kills me a little on the inside. You know, like throws that little strand of trust I had for them out the window. So don't believe IGN because they're wrong.
All their reviews suck except like 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah,
Let me read
except for
out
the
their
correct
review,
one.
right? Invincible Season 3 finale review 4 IGN. Bad. Invincible Season 3 peters out with a baffling finale centered on a villain we've never met and a hero's dilemma that's never actually addressed.
Like, okay, it's like setting up for the next season though. Like I understand at the very end of it, the animation quality. There was like a bit of it that I won't say anything. But there was a bit of it that was a little disappointing, just animation wise. But honestly, who cares? Um, Even the way they left off, I thought it was fine. Like it was intriguing. It's like, oh, I wonder where this will go. Like I don't know. I think IGN is wrong. I'm gonna call them out on that.
They're always wrong. Nothing IGN Okay, some of the reviews are okay. We went over this last time. They had some
Yeah.
okay reviews. But then they just have a big pile of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Got up. But shitty reviews aside, we've talked enough about IGN in the last episode. So today I'm gonna jump into our game we're reviewing. So this is my solo game for this month, I guess. This Amnesia: The Dark Descent. It's a very notorious horror game. It's a very classic one, and if you're into horror games, you have to play through this one. This one is phenomenal for horror. So the story of this game, jumping into it, is a little hard to follow. It's got kind of a similar tone to some of the older Dark Souls, where well, not as much as Dark Souls, but it's a lot of like reading notes for the stories, for the story. Um, so if you're not really reading the notes, you're not gonna learn anything. But uh, this story, you play as a character named Daniel, and you'll never guess it, he has amnesia. So, so you wake up in this like
wait.
castle place.
Is
Yep.
this John Amnesia?
Not quite. Not quite John.
Damn.
Kind of, but not quite. We'll get
Normal.
into why it's kind of.
Okay.
But basically you wake up in this castle, you find out you drank like some like strange liquid or something, and you can't remember why you're there. So throughout this game, you kind of just go through the castle trying to get out of there because it's really spooky. And you don't know who you are, so you're trying to find out who you are through the notes throughout the game. But I don't know if I want to just jump straight into like the backstory of it because it's kind of hard to explain going through the game.
I mean, might as well try.
Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning. So there's a series that takes place before the game, technically, but you learn this throughout the game. So Daniel, he was on an archaeological dig, and he found this like strange orb. This orb fractured into a bunch of chunks, and he took them back to London.
Oh, spoiler warning on this, by the way.
Yeah, big spoiler.
But...
This is the whole story that I'm going through. So, basically, that orb was cursed. And so he got like cursed by, I don't know what it is he got cursed by, but he got cursed by something that causes like him to basically hallucinate and see these shadows, and these shadows are killing people that he's close to. And so he was going to some like physician, and that guy got murdered, and then he was sent a letter from a man named Alexander. And so that guy was saying, "Hey, I can help people like you." So Daniel followed him. I think he went to some other country or something. Now Daniel was told by Alexander to basically do a bunch of rituals and kind of torture and kill some people, because that's the only way. You have to like provide a bunch of fear, and that does something with the ritual, which gets rid of his stuff, his curse. So Daniel
Wait.
yeah.
Sorry, wait. Getting rid of whose curse?
So Daniel's cursed. So he was cursed by the orb thing that he found.
Okay, so they're doing some ritual
Yeah.
to remove it?
That's what he's being told.
That's what he's being told. Okay.
Yeah. So Daniel is who you're playing as is told that these are like murderers, rapists, bad people. But throughout the notes they're kind of hinted that they're not, that they're normal people. But eventually there was something with a family, like they ran out of prisoners, and so he had to go like do something with a family. I don't remember exactly. I know the family's no longer alive at some point. But eventually I think the ritual completes, or is like about to complete. It's close to being done. And Alexander basically locks up Daniel, and he locks him out of where the ritual is being held. So that ritual basically opens a portal that sends Alex home to a different dimension thing where there's not this curse stuff. Because I think Alex also suffers from the curse. I think. I won't say that like 100%, but I think. But at this point, Daniel realizes Alexander's using him, and he gets so much guilt from what he's done to those people and prisoners and whatnot that he gives himself amnesia to get rid of the guilt. And that's where the game begins, essentially.
So his solution to being
Yeah.
depressed for what he did was to make himself forget about it. You know,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea if it wasn't for the fact that he was going to forget literally everything else.
Yeah, and literally he wakes up in the middle of this like castle. Like, where am I? Oh man. Good thing I left these notes about my past. I don't know. It's kind of goofy in that sense, but
He couldn't put it all into like one journal and keep it on him.
nah, that'd be too easy.
No, okay.
He wanted to forget, so he had to make sure like he only remembered parts of it or something. I don't know. Through a gameplay standpoint, the notes are that's just how you learn about it. It's not like a realistic thing with the story. At least I don't think so. But basically throughout this game, you're just trying to get out of the castle for most of it. So you go through a bunch of areas of the castle that are very spooky. And the reason they are spooky, which goes into kind of the gameplay of it, is throughout this game, you have no way of attacking or defending yourself. Which was a very big thing when this game came out. This game came out in like 2010, I think. So it was a big thing that you didn't really see a lot. So there is no way of defending yourself. It's pretty much just run and hide. But also dealing with that, you have to manage Daniel's sanity. So the longer you're in the dark, the more you go insane, which makes it harder to see. Which is a little annoying, I will say, because it makes your screen. If you've played Minecraft and you've eaten a pufferfish, and it gives you that weird, like, effect on your screen, it kind of looks like that after a while. Your screen starts to like shift around and stuff. It's really weird, and it kind of hurts your eyes sometimes. But it adds to that fear factor a lot because it's a very dark game. And so it kind of plays with your head, seeing like shadows and stuff. Which is interesting. I really like that part. I think it's really cool.
So it's a lot more of like a psychological horror aspect to it.
Yeah, it's very big on psychological horror.
Okay.
So let's see. So the way to keep your sanity down is by staying in the light. There's a few different ways. You can get like tinder boxes and you can light torches to do that. You can also, at some point in the game, you can get a lantern, which you need fuel for. And there's a limited amount of fuel. But, I guess moving into the monsters, because the sanity is a very big part of the game. It's not like huge in the sense of dying, but it makes the game very scary. And it adds the fear factor like crazy. But like, so when we get into monsters, one thing that I find really interesting is there is not a single thing that can, I mean, I guess outright kill you unless you really try to get yourself killed until like halfway through the game. There is not a single monster. There are only hallucinations, there's only a few hallucinations, I think, before that. But I think that's really interesting. So it really plays into that psychological part. Because at least when I played it, that was like, is like terrifying going around every corner.
I love that.
Yeah, it really tricks your brain. I know a lot of the other Amnesia games I've heard also do that. Where it's really safe early on.
I have a question about the Amnesia games. So, how are they all linked? Like, does that mean every character in all the games has amnesia? Or...
I'm pretty sure. I think all of them have amnesia.
Because I've seen a bit on the what one is it? The
The
World War II
bunker.
one.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
bunker.
bunker. I know
Yeah.
that one's scary as shit.
Oh, the bunker is terrifying. I want to talk about that one, but I've got to beat it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I think they're all tied by the word amnesia. I haven't seen anything on Machine of Pigs or Machine for Pigs. I don't remember what it's called, or Rebirth, or the other one. I don't remember its name. I think those ones are shorter. The Machine of Pigs, and there's another one. I don't remember what it is, but it's I think they're like add-ons to Dark Descent, which is the main game. Um, but I know the bunker. I'm 100% you have amnesia in the bunker. I know that. I'm pretty sure you have amnesia in the other games as well. Um,
Yeah. Oh, you're right, because I know how it starts. You wake up in the bunker, like the
mhm.
hospital bed.
Yeah, you wake up in the hospital bed. Um, I don't know if it tells you immediately. I think it does. I think the first note you find is like talks about you not having a lot of memory recollection.
Oh, God.
But otherwise through the games, I don't believe any of the stories are linked otherwise. So you can technically play them in any order.
Yeah. I wonder if they're like, they share a world or something.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know if it's like a world necessarily. Because there's a lot of weird shit that happens in the Amnesia games. But yeah, so the back to the monsters of this game. So there's a few different ones. I don't think they're very different other than looks. There's like two, maybe three. Um, and they're typically just kind of roaming around in areas that you need stuff in. Uh, Again, you cannot attack them, so it is genuinely run and hide and hope they don't catch up to you. Um, but let's see. I don't know where to combat off of this. Cause so the monsters in the game, I don't know what the lore is with the monsters. I don't know if there is. I guess they're technically like the shadows, the shadow things that follow Daniel. I'm pretty sure that's what they are actually. Um, but while you're moving through this castle, I don't remember where exactly your objective shifts. I don't remember if it's when you meet. There's a prisoner you meet partway or most of the way through the game. Uh, you have like a side objective that can change one of the endings. Um, but essentially, at some point, your objective shifts from getting out of the place to stopping Alexander with the ritual because apparently he hadn't done it yet at this point, and so you have to stop him by doing it and getting out yourself.
Damn.
But
So I found something. So they are connected, but they play out completely differently from each other. They're not like directly connected, but it says in Justine, the DLC for Dark Descent, A Machine
that's what
for
it was.
Pigs, and Rebirth, you
Mhm.
can find references to the Dark Descent from
Oh,
all of
okay.
those.
So it's in the same world, just not connected,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Which
All
that's
right.
cool. That's cool.
That's interesting.
A lot
I
of
want to
people
play the
with
other.
amnesia though.
Oh yeah. If you just gotta drink some strange liquid, boom, amnesia. I think that's what the bunker is. I don't remember exactly. No, it wasn't that. The bunker was something else.
I'm assuming he
Um,
just got like close called off an artillery shell and just had major brain damage.
I don't remember what exactly caused him to get amnesia. The thing I was thinking wasn't what it was. I won't say it because it's a huge spoiler. Um,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
but yeah, so essentially throughout this game, you are mostly just kind of going through the game and going through this castle, which is really spooky. You go through a lot of different areas through this. There's starting off, it's just kind of your typical castle scene. At some point, you, you go through a laboratory and you do a bunch of stuff with that. This game also has a lot of puzzles. So through these, you have to get puzzles. So you have to go find a bunch of like pieces and stuff throughout these areas and do a puzzle to progress. Um, so I guess it's kind of like a horror puzzle game in a way, horror puzzle survival. Um, You go through also like an archive and study. There's a whole machine room area. I don't like that place. You have to collect a bunch of gears and rods and stuff, and it's really annoying because there's not a lot, but there is an enemy that's always right where you don't want him to be. You go through a prison area as well. That place has a lot of like cramped quarters. Um, and then the cistern. I really hate the cistern. So it's essentially like a sewer area. Uh, you have to do this puzzle in there to drain the water, and then you have to open up a pipe, and then you crawl through the pipe into the next area. Um, but that one took me a while because the enemy in that area is really aggressive, and there's not a lot of places to hide. So it's kind of hard to get past him. I think he's right when you get in it though. But yeah, that place was tough. Um but yeah, after that, I think you go through a control room, a morgue. I think there's a choir room at some point, and then you meet Agrippa, which Agrippa is the prisoner I was talking about earlier. I don't know why that's their name. It's really hard to figure out how to pronounce it. Well, it's not really, but it's just a weird name, you know. Um, so the thing with Agrippa, I think Agrippa is genuinely just one of the prisoners, but it gives you a different ending if you do it. And I did do their side quest. You kind of have to go get him like a cure thing. I don't remember exactly what, or it was either a cure or you kill him. And I remember you take his head with you at the end of the game,
Oh.
which is really weird. um, I think this castle technically is in like another dimension because I think the portal is how you get out of the castle.
What the fuck?
But that part I won't go into too much because I don't really know a lot on that.
Magical portals and shit?
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, do you have a question?
Yeah, I gotta say something because I was looking some more stuff up.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
something interesting about a bit of the Amnesia series. We'll do, of course, individual reviews when Tucker or I, probably most likely Tucker, not me, plays any of the other ones. But I was looking it up. So they had the DLC right for the Dark Descent, and the next one they had come out was a machine for pigs.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because in that one they removed the fear system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't. It was something like they just removed it because it wouldn't fit the what it was.
Hmm.
I don't remember. It's same concept, some with Amnesia. And then the next one, Rebirth in 2020, Amnesia Rebirth, they brought it back with the same thing, hiding or looking at monsters and walking in the dark can
Oh,
cause it.
interesting. I didn't know that.
So that's pretty cool.
I'm excited to play the other ones. I want to play them. They're very spooky though. Like I will say, they're very spooky.
They are fucking horrifying. I know, especially Bunker.
Especially the bunker is terrifying. That one's crazy.
Yeah.
I really want to beat it though. But yeah. So I guess I can move into kind of the endings. There's 4 different endings. Obviously, huge spoilers with these. So there's I think 2 good endings and technically 2 bad endings. The bad endings are like I say technically because I know in the wiki there's only listed 1 bad ending, but there's like 2 ways to get it. So at the end of the game, you have to stop Alexander from doing the ritual, or you have to do it yourself and get through the portal yourself. So if you first off just let Alexander do it and you let him escape, you just kind of die. I don't remember exactly how you die, but you die. Or you have to wait for one of the shadow things to take an item that you really need, and it kind of just makes it so you can't win, so you die. The good endings, however, you gotta knock over a bunch of pillars, and then Alexander gets killed by a shadow. I don't know what causes the shadow to kill him. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've played. But then you leave through the portal and you win. You get out. The other one is you do this stuff with Agrippa. You take his head or her head. I don't remember if it's a guy or a girl.
Somebody's head. You
Yeah,
steal
you
it.
take Agrippa's head. And then when the portal starts to form, you throw the head inside. You and Alexander die, I think, but Agrippa, some lore stuff with Agrippa. Agrippa had like a teacher or something that went through the portal, and then Agrippa goes through and gets that guy to go save you. I think. I can't tell you for sure. It's really complicated, and you can only find it if you look for it. Essentially, but from what I got out of it is you save Agrippa and you don't save yourself, and that's the ending I did because it was interesting. But yeah, uh, let's see. So this one, if you're looking for story for a horror game, it's not bad. It's not necessarily terrible story, or like not. I wouldn't say terrible. Not like hard to follow, but it is a little tough if you're not good at reading notes. Like I'm not very good at memorizing notes. I'll read them and then I'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna remember that, you know. But it is interesting. It's a very interesting one. Amnesia, from what I've found, has very obviously dark stories, but they're very interesting stories. They don't leave a lot of loose ends, but there's also just not a lot of loose ends to leave. They're fairly simple, which is kind of nice. Simply complicated. That's what they are. But yeah. Oh yeah. One thing I'd like to touch on, gameplay wise, Amnesia has a really cool system with how you can pick up objects. You can pick up pretty much any object in the game that's not super heavy. And you can just kind of grab it and throw it around. You don't really use this feature to do anything, but it's cool that you can do it. I mean, I had a I had a sequence in the start of Dark Descent where there was a hole in the ceiling and I really wanted to try and get up there. So I was stacking a bunch of boxes I was finding to try and get up there. Um Long story short, I did not make it up there. My tower kept tipping over. But I think it's really cool how you can interact with things, even though it's not super useful a lot of the times. There might be a use that I just didn't know, but I think it's cool. I know it's also in the bunker, and I'm pretty sure it's in Rebirth as well, and I'm assuming it's in the other two things. I won't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's in there.
What's in there?
The movement stuff, so you can pick up stuff.
Inventory? No, it said
No, not inventory. So like literally you can like think it's on an Xbox controller, you just hold RT on something and you can pick it up and move it around.
Oh, okay.
It's just really interesting. I think you can throw stuff too. There are a few things you need to throw stuff at, which is
stuff sounds fun.
tough because it doesn't tell you. But yeah, it's very interesting as a whole. It's a concept I haven't seen in any other games, so I think it's cool. But overall, this game isn't super long. I mean, well, it is. It's like your average like 12-hour game. If you kind of know what you're doing, you know. But it's not insanely long, which is nice. I don't like a super long game just because it's long. I think games are good to end earlier if they need to. But yeah, that's pretty much all of this game. It's a pretty easy game to explain. Well, not easy to explain, but pretty quick to explain. Because gameplay wise, it doesn't change a whole ton from just getting from area to area and solving puzzles. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on the game. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, I have
notes to
a few
add?
stuff we can talk about.
Yeah.
I was looking at some stuff. Then I have a weird tangent we can go off here in a second. But I want to talk about Soma is a
Oh, yeah.
Amnesia like game, right? It's from the same
Yeah.
developers.
So it's from the
It's
same developers, but it's not technically with the Amnesia series. However, it's very similar. I haven't played through it a lot. I played about an hour into it, but
okay.
it's very cool. That one I
Yeah,
really like the idea of.
yeah, that's one I kind of want to try because it seems cool. I just haven't tried it.
Really keeps the spooky aspect. Like from the
Spooky
Amnesia
dooky.
games, it is a very spooky one.
Hmm.
I really want to play it. That one also is a very like psychological horror. Um, where
Yeah.
yeah,
So it seems cool. So I was looking at something because I got on top of like I know Amnesias are like seen as some of the scariest games. So then I looked up like what are some of the scariest games, and then I saw this game that I didn't know was a game, but I knew there was a book on it.
yeah.
It's like a short horror story. I mean, you might have heard of it. I have no mouth and I must scream.
Maybe.
So do you know the character I am?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. This like whole like the whole aspect of like this world is really cool. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I used to know a lot about it, but not so much anymore. But it's based around a supercomputer that spent, years and years and years of, humanity and just hated it. So he basically killed all of them, but left 5 alive and locked them in like a room-ish thing.
Weird.
And then you play the game where he's slowly like so from what I understand, they're on like 5 pillars, right? All facing each other so they can talk.
Hmm.
But they're all getting tortured every single day.
Yeah.
And like they kind of like set like they grow these relationships, they hate each other, and then the machine just plays with them. It's really like really fucked up and like a massive psychological horror, but
Weird.
the whole aspect of it is so cool.
Hmm. I've never heard of that.
I have to look at it. I don't think I'm gonna play the game, but because it was a game made in 95,
Oh,
1995.
so it's an older
So
one.
yeah, but that like almost grows on the aspect of like the horror of it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, and one reason I really wanted to talk about Amnesia: Dark Descent, um, is it is a like is pretty much like a staple of just like horror games. It is 2010. It's a very like classic game, and it kind of pioneered the idea of you can't fight back in a horror game. Which I mean, I don't want to say for sure that pioneered that, but that's how at least from what I've seen, it has. I don't want to say it's the first one because it's probably not, but it is one of the bigger ones that implemented that kind of gameplay. And I really like that kind of gameplay because it takes something and it makes it so much more horrifying. Yeah,
Yeah. Amnesia games are just terrifying in general.
they really are. They're quite simple games gameplay wise, but they add that fear factor.
Does dude, another of the one of the things they showed on here I want to talk about what was it? Alien Isolation.
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
know it's scary, but I don't think it should be like on this list of the scariest horror games. I don't know. I played a bit of it. I didn't finish it. I played a good amount of it though. Not really,
I
but
would say it's pretty scary. Um, I haven't finished it either. I gotta go back and play it because I didn't I played a bit of it and I got stuck and gave up. I really want to play it again. Uh, yeah, Alien Isolation was one. I think it's like the biggest game to have implemented the way of like an enemy that learns from how you act. So like the xenomorph in it, it like learns from past things that you do to get away from it, and it's
does it have
really
like
interesting.
2 different AI like programs to chase for you? One
Hmm.
that knows exactly where you're at and one that doesn't.
Yeah. No, yeah, that I love that because like That's what I've heard it kind of like explained as, because it's like it doesn't know where you are, but it kind of knows where you are at the same time, and it's really interesting. Um, but that's another one to try out if you really like horror games. Alien Isolation is a really big one. That's a really good one too. I know it's a little on the longer side, I think. Um, but I know it's a really worth playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in
Oh.
terms of like horror, at least from my experience, I haven't found a lot of horror games recently that I've been kind of enjoying. Like a lot of horror games just kind of are meh. Like I really like Outlast. Outlast is really good. Um I haven't played through Until Dawn yet, but I've watched people play through it. I really like the story of Until Dawn. However, I don't think it really adds the horror aspect that people look for. Um, a lot of the times I like the story of horror games. I think they have very creative stories most of the time. I won't say all the time, but um, very few are really to the point where it's like you're scared to walk around every corner. And I really love the ones that work with that. Like playing through like Resident Evil 7 for the first time really gave me that. And to be fair, that was a long time ago that I first played it. But that game really was scary for me. Um and I feel like that was really the only Resident Evil game that made me like that was pretty scary to me. Cuz small aspects can really make a game less scary. And it's like being able to talk to a friend would be one. So like co-op games, a lot of the times they're just not really scary. I want to talk about Lethal Company a little bit because Lethal Company is something I really like. But another thing I find is like third person really brings down the scariness for me. That could just be me. I prefer first person. I think it's way more immersing if you're playing first person. Um, and then yeah, again like the fighting, being able to fight back is the other thing. Cause it's like, oh, I'll just shoot it. You know, if I see it, I'll just shoot it. It's not a big deal. But then, like, when you're playing like Amnesia, it's like, okay, I gotta remember there's a place to hide behind me. If I need to run, I can run there. Like, you have to kind of memorize these little things and strategize or getting around it without it seeing you. And just little things like that can make a horror game so much better. But I really
Yeah.
want to talk about an aspect of
I
Lethal
like.
Company too. Yeah.
Oh.
No, you
Can I
go for
talk
it.
about that aspect you were literally just talking about? Like the you don't know what's happening. So
Mm-hmm.
there was this 2002 game, right, called The Thing. It's based off the movie The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically go into like this Arctic area with, you and your squad. You're like the captain of this like assault team. Now, the Thing will randomly like infect one of your NPC companions. And they all have their own dialogue. They all talk their own way. They might wander off or do something. You have to rein them back in. And
Mm-hmm.
so it tries to like gain your trust for these characters that are like talking.
Yeah.
And then they'll just do something that's just outright creepy that exposes that they are that. And it's just
That's like,
unnerving. Also, you can get like randomly attacked and stuff, of course, by it. But
uh,
it's such a cool thing. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's one of the system things. I don't know if they copyrighted the system. Yep, they did, I think. The Thane's Trust system.
hmm,
I hate when things do that.
yeah.
It's like the same thing we talked about with Shadow of Mordor. Is that the game? Yeah, where they copyrighted the Nemesis system.
Yeah. I hate that. That's stupid.
It's tragic.
Let people have fun. That is interesting. I didn't know they made a game for the thing, but
Yeah, it seems super cool.
I like that aspect of things. I think that's a really cool, like the doppelganger kind of stuff where, like, I guess not really doppelganger, but more like, taking the form of something you know. I think that's so cool. I love that idea. But,
Dude, it's just such a cool aspect.
combating off that game a
Oh.
bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
have
I
something
have a
with
little
that?
bit more on
Mine's a
this.
bit longer,
Yeah,
so you want to go
so
into
it
this?
has more of the trust, like talking about the same thing. So the trust like system is like if your squad members don't trust you, they won't do anything for you. They won't help you. They won't, do anything. And then if you get attacked, they might like send you to hell. But
Mm-hmm.
and they also might get infected more, and they can also have fear. So like if you're in combat and you accidentally shoot him, he'll be a little bit mad at you, or you can lose some trust if one of your squad members is attacked and you don't partake in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you help them or if you heal them, you save them, you give them ammo or whatever, and then it's just such a cool system
Mm-hmm.
that like doing
That's
that.
interesting. I like that.
I like that.
But yeah, I wanted to kind of say, because I did say like co-op can kind of ruin a fear factor of it. It can also really heighten it, I've found. And Lethal Company has really shown me that, because Lethal Company is all fun and games until you're cruising with your buddy, you're just staying in pairs, you're having a blast, joking around. Then your buddy dies. And then you're left alone, knowing there's like a bracken. Like there's a monster around. And it just, those little sound cues in the background make it sound like things are behind you. Those add so much when you realize
Or
how quiet things can be.
or talking to someone through the radio, and then next thing you know, they're not responding, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, shit.
Yeah, I love that. Um, gosh, there was another thing. I don't want to talk about the game too much. I don't remember what it was called. It was one of the Backrooms games. It was like Escape from the Backrooms. Um,
Yeah.
which Backrooms scary. There was one specific part of it that scared the shit out of me. Um, because there's a part where there's a monster that like records you talking, and it'll play it back at some point. And so I was playing this with some of our other friends, and so I was talking to someone, and it just so happened to use one of the dialogue things that it recorded like perfectly from what I said. So like it was responding. And then your friend stops and is like, "Hey, why'd you stop?" I walk up to him and it did like this. It did like a jump scare, which scared the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting that. But like
That's perfect.
that one really is like a highlight to that game. We did not beat that game. We didn't get very far, but I don't really care for the game. But I just had to say because it scared the shit out of me. I was like taken aback by that for a little while. Um, but yeah, horror is a really interesting thing. I've been really
Yeah.
fascinated with horror for a while.
There's
Um,
this one game.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Oh, you're
there's
good.
this one game I saw that I've seen a bunch of people play because I really like it. I'm not going to play it myself. I couldn't. It's way too fucking scary. But it's a Menti. It's got like an Amnesia vibe, but you know why you're there, and your character's finding these
Hmm.
notes of someone that was in this pyramid before you. And it's just absolutely fucking terrifying because you're in this dark, you don't see anything. You're in this underground pyramid, and you open up this coffin, and then this voice actor did fucking amazing. There's just this blood curdling scream that lasts for like 10 seconds after you open the coffin, and
Oh,
you have no clue where it's coming from. And there's only one entrance into the room you're in. So it's like,
huh.
oof.
Damn.
Yeah. It's great. That entire game, Amenti, is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
suggest anybody watch like something about it. It's a pretty short game. It's like a 40-minute game, so you're not going to be spending, your whole day watching this. It's just a really cool game.
Hmm. Yeah, horror is so cool. I'm really interested in sound stuff too. Um, when a horror game does sound right, it's a good horror game. Like sound is a huge factor in horror games. I love when they do that right because it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
But I think that's about all I have for
Yeah.
kind of horror games. Amnesia in general. I don't know if you have anything else.
No.
All right. I'll go ahead and go into the review. I don't know if you want to start with any like things you want to say about the game. Give you a chance to say anything.
I don't know much about it, so I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, it sounds like a neat game. Most of the Amnesia games seem neat. They're just not my
Mm-hmm.
type of thing.
All right. But yeah, I think I'll move into my review. Overall, I think this game really hits the mark for horror, at least from what I see horror as. So I think sound is good in this game. Gameplay is pretty good. I will say some of the areas are a little annoying, just pathing wise, but oh well. I beat the game, so it can't be that bad. Um, Overall, I think this game really hits the mark. It's truly like a classic for horror games. So, in that matter, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, which puts that up to a 7 out of 10.
7, nice.
I think is a solid horror game. If you are into horror, I think you got to play it. Like, got to at least play this one. You don't got to play all the Amnesia games. I won't say that, but like at least Dark Descent. It is just a classic. But yeah. So our next episode, we're gonna be talking about Split Fiction, which will be a fun one to talk about because that game was a lot of fun to play.
It's fucking phenomenal.
It was awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you have any ending statements, unless you want me to close it out.
No, I don't have anything. I was a little quiet this episode, but that normally happens on
It's
solo
kind of a hard
episodes.
game to comment on
Yeah,
too. It's a pretty
but
straightforward game.
we did have our second segment, shitty reviews.
Yeah.
Stick around for more of shitty reviews.
We'll be watching you, IGN.
Yeah,
You best not mess up again. We're gonna call you out.
We're watching like a hawk. We're always there. Or a dragon, I guess.
All right.
Could keep to our
But with that, I'm gonna close this out. If you enjoyed, please tell us. If you didn't, please tell us. If you even made it this far, please tell us.
Yes.
We want to know.
Sure.
But with that, we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.